The way we interpret our child's behavior changes everything because when we only see shouting, the attitude, the tears, or the defiance, we react to the behavior. But when we understand the need underneath it, we respond to the child. And that's what's really key, that we start responding to our children. And this is what can shift and transform family life. So for those who don't know, who haven't met me before, my name is Bakshi Sidhu, and I am the founder of Little One's Life Coach. I'm a certified parenting and life coach with a background in psychology, a master's in children and child development, and 2 decades in the early years and primary education sector. But most importantly, I am a mum of 2 boys. So everything I teach is not just professional, it's very personal too. I have not had an easy parenting journey, despite all of these qualifications and career experiences. But one thing I love doing is being open, being vulnerable, and just talking about the parenting journey. And I'm so passionate in supporting parents that feel that they are trudging through. So, first of all, a huge thank you to Mr. Gosden and the Mal School for inviting me back to run another workshop. And for all of you parents that have showed up today, I really, truly appreciate it. Now, lots of you have shared it amongst your groups and your WhatsApp groups, and you don't realize how powerful that is because it lets a struggling parent know that it's okay to talk, to be vulnerable, and actually lean on each other. And so for that, I'm truly grateful. So I'm just going to be sharing a PowerPoint. So just give me a few seconds to just set this up. And then I'm going to ask that you're able to see it. All right, so we've got this. So make sure I did it correctly. There we go. If you can just give me a thumbs up if you can see my PowerPoint. Brilliant. There's going to be lots of thumbs up and there's going to be lots of chats. So make sure you do interact. I really appreciate that when you do that. Okay, so let me just move this out of the way because that helps me out. Right, so tonight is all about helping you decode your child's behavior in a completely different way. And you're going to learn simple ways to respond that builds connection, calm, and cooperation. Okay, that's what today's about. Let me just hit the next slide. Okay, so often as parents and teachers, because I know we've got a couple of teachers here, we focus on what the child is doing or how they are behaving. So we often see the shouting, the tantrums, the tears, the clinginess, the defiance, the backchat, the perfectionism, the withdrawal. And naturally, our minds go to, how do I stop this? How do I fix this? How do I make it go away? So before we go any further, pop a 1 in the chat if you've ever asked yourself this question. Why are my children behaving like this? So type a 1 in the chat if you've ever thought that, like, why are my children behaving like this? Thank you. Definitely, definitely. It's like you want subtitles, you want captions for your children. Like, why are they doing this? So tonight, it's about shifting from simply managing behavior to understanding behavior because behavior is communication. Okay, right. So just have a quick look at that little diagram. Children don't always have the words or emotional awareness to say things like, I feel unsafe, especially younger children. They don't have these words or emotional awareness to say, I feel disconnected. I feel powerless. I don't feel important. I need stimulation. I feel overwhelmed. So instead, they shout, they cry, they refuse, they cling, they argue, they withdraw. And often we become behavior firefighters. So we distract them, we threaten them, we reward them, we punish them, we negotiate, we remove screens, we offer snacks and treats, and sometimes the behavior stops temporarily, but often it comes back. Okay, so the behavior is not the issue, it's just the tip of the iceberg, it's the symptom, and that's what we see, and that's what we're usually firefighting. Okay, so this is going to be the thing it's the best bit. Okay, so behavior is the vehicle, not the need. Okay, so one of the biggest shifts I want you to make tonight is this. The need is the destination, the behavior is the vehicle. And I hope that little graphic there really highlights that to you. Okay, so the behavior is the vehicle, the need is the destination. And that's why we're trying to figure out what the need is behind the behavior. The behavior you see is simply the strategy your child is using to get a need met. For example, a child who needs significance, they may meet that positively by being funny, being helpful, achieving, or leading. But they could also meet that need for significance by arguing, showing off, and being disruptive. The same need for significance, but it's a different vehicle, a positive way or a negative way. And this is true for us too as parents. A parent needing certainty may meet that need positively by being organized and prepared. But a parent needing certainty can also meet that negatively through anxiety and control. The need itself is never wrong. The strategy, the vehicle is what matters. Okay. I'm just going to go to the next slide. This is a key slide, and feel free to take a picture of it, but you will get this sent to you. Tonight's workshop is based on human needs psychology and the framework created by Tony Robbins. So for those who don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is one of the world's leading life strategists and an expert in human behavior, known for helping millions of people understand what drives their thoughts, their emotions, and their actions. And I've been a student of his for about 20 years, and I absolutely love his work. He teaches that every human behavior is driven by the attempt to meet one or more of these needs. So we all have 6 needs. Okay, like sometimes we get bogged down with what do my children need? But fundamentally, we've got 6 needs, and usually 2 dominate. Okay, those 2 at the top often shape our personality, our triggers, our behaviors, our habits, our coping mechanisms, our response to stress, our relationships and how we choose our partner and friends, our reactions, and even how we decide to parent. So children have 2 top needs, and so do we. Okay, so understanding your top human needs can be life-changing. And some of you may have never heard of this framework before. And once you hear it, you kind of can't unhear it. But it's so transformational and it's so life-changing because these needs act like invisible drivers behind almost everything that you do. This is an integral part of what I use in my coaching. And once parents know this and they embody this and use it in daily life, it can really transform the relationship that they have with their children, their partner, and how they run their home and family life. Okay, so we're going to explore these 6 human needs in a lot of detail. And while we're exploring them, I want you to think about what your top 2 human needs are, your children's top 2 human needs, and your significant other, because that makes the dynamic of your home, okay, and how things either work well together or how they collide with each other, okay? So the first need is the need for certainty. Certainty is the need for safety, comfort, predictability, and control. So this often shows up very strongly in younger children. So think nursery age and the infants. Routine regulates them, predictability feels safe, and this is why they may have a meltdown over the wrong cup, the wrong bowl, a changed routine, a wrong parent doing bedtime, struggles during school holidays when there's no routine. And older children may show certainty through anxiety. So they might start repeating questions and overthinking, ruminating, asking like, who's going to be there? What time are we leaving? What are we going to do after? They're looking for the need of certainty to be met. Now, adults, so us lot, may show certainty through planning, routines, and organization. But we can also do it through anxiety, overthinking, and control. Now, a clash often happens when a certainty-driven parent has a variety-driven child. The parent craves order, the child creates the chaos. And that's where a clash can happen. It's a clash of needs. A clash can happen when a certainty-driven parent has a certainty-driven child, but they both want to execute tasks and routines their way. Now, the problem with having certainty as a top need is it does create anxiety. And so often, if your top need is certainty, you may be parenting from fear and worry. Okay, it's just important to have an awareness of this because these have been these invisible drivers. Okay, so pop a yes in the chat if you have a certainty, if you're brave enough to share a certainty driven child, or you think that you might be a certainty driven adult. So put it in the chat if you think you are, if you think possibly your top need might be certainty. Yes, yes, me. Yes, I see that. And in fact, I am as well. I love certainty. I love routine. I love order. It's what drives me. Okay, let's go to the second need. Lots of yeses in that one. Okay, the second need is variety. So we all want the stability and the comfort and the safety, but we also want change. We want novelty. We want surprise and stimulation. So it's paradoxical. Too much certainty, and then we crave the need for uncertainty, for some variety. Now, the teenage brain is wired for novelty and dopamine. And I wanted to talk about the teenage brain, especially for the year six parents whose kids are going to be transitioning over soon. So they are looking for novelty, they're looking for variety. And that's often why you see teenagers wanting to take part in sort of risky behaviors. It's a need for variety. So the need for variety can look like boredom, risk taking, rebellion, creating drama, changing friendship groups, constantly wanting something new. The child who says, I'm bored every 5 minutes may be craving stimulation and variety. The child who annoys the siblings may just be doing that to create excitement. See, a child that's high in certainty may fear variety. So it's really important to know what your children's top needs are. So they might struggle to try new things. Okay. A child high in variety may just create chaos just to feel alive. Okay. They're meeting one of their needs. So who has a child that says, I'm bored on repeat? It'll be good to see if anyone has a child that just really craves a need for certainty, not for variety, not certainty. Me. Soon as the holidays start, we get the I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. It's the need for variety is what's popping up, usually within the first 5 minutes of holidays. Oh, interesting. I have one of each. I love all the chat. That's really good because it's so nice for parents to just see and realize they're not alone. Okay. Right. The third need is significance. Now, significance is the need to feel important, to feel respected, seen, and valued. And this often becomes huge in later primary and teenage years. So I know that lots of us parents in year 5 and year 6 might see our children sort of change when they hit those year groups. Okay. So in those times, especially later primary and teenage years, their identity is forming. So peers matter more, status matters more, independence matters more, privacy matters more. So all children want to feel special, unique, and have eyes on them. And they may seek this positively through leadership, humor, achievement, confidence, talent, but they can also achieve significance in a negative way through backchat, defiance, attention seeking, showing off, and disruptive behavior. Okay, remember, we get caught on the negative behaviors like the attention seeking or the disruptive behavior. But if we understand the need underneath it, they're needing significance, we can find a way to help them meet that need. Okay, and that will reduce the negative vehicle that they're choosing to use. So the child that's seeking it negatively would rather have negative attention than no attention. So when a child is behaving in an attention-seeking way, they are trying to meet that need for significance. And once some significance is given to them, they stop attention seeking. Okay. But we do have clashes. A clash can happen if we've got a significant driven child and a significant driven parent. Okay. And that can happen quite often. And we can see that happening in the teen years perhaps as well. Okay. Both want respect, both want to be heard, both want power, and this can create battles. So another word for significance is feeling inadequate. So when your child is doing something that's very disruptive and you feel that they're needing the need for significance, they're also feeling possibly a little bit inadequate. And that's why they're craving that significance. Okay, they're really striving to feel good enough. So type a yes if this just resonates, whether you've got a significant child or your partner is significant, or just if this makes sense. Just type a yes in the chat so I know that you're all still there. That's really helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so let's move on to, oh yes. Okay, let's go to the fourth need, love and connection. I love this one. This is the need to feel loved, accepted, and emotionally safe. You know, one of those kind of love bugs. These children may seek closeness. So anyone who knows my child knows that my child is a love bug. Okay. He does this. So he wants affection, but these children seek reassurance. They want physical touch, words of affirmation, but they can also seek this negatively too. Okay. Because conflict can still feel like connection. Arguing can still feel like connection. Negative attention can still feel like connection. So some children really want that need for love and connection, and they'll find positive ways to do it or negative ways. And again, it's trying to see what's going on underneath and trying to give them that attention. So often this can show up after school. When they've been apart from you for a while, they can have these meltdowns. And actually, we can don't want to get stuck on those meltdowns or those after school squabbles. Actually, what they're needing is that time to just connect again with their parent. When a new sibling arrives, a new baby arrives in a home, that child can feel displaced and could feel a bit unwanted. Okay, even though the parents might be showering them with love, they feel that. So that's also when the need for love and connection goes super high for them. Okay, especially when new babies arrive. If parents are busy and distracted with work or with their phones, with their emails, that's mostly the time when children really want that love and connection too. And that's probably when they'll disturb you when you're on an important call or dealing with some work emails. They're seeking the need for connection. They come across as clingy, but underneath, all they're seeking is emotional safety and connection. So the first four needs, certainty, variety, significance, love, and connection, they're the needs of the personality. And all children and adults are unconsciously trying to meet these needs through their actions, behavior, and emotions. Okay. Once you've had a training like this, it then rises into the consciousness and we understand why we're doing the things that we do. Okay. So the next need is the need for growth. The need for growth and the need for contribution, they're the needs of the spirit to make you truly fulfilled. So growth is the need to learn, to improve, to achieve, and to develop. So children are often naturally curious, so they have this need to grow. They ask lots of questions, they like challenge, they enjoy mastering new skills, they may love puzzles, reading, learning facts, building, creating, or setting goals. And these are often children that really want to thrive. They really want to be stretched and stimulated. Okay. And they may seek praise for effort and progress when they do something really good. So they are truly growing, but it can be a clever disguise for significance too. Okay, so they want to grow, they want to get top marks, but they're also seeking a bit of significance too. But when growth feels blocked, or when they feel like they're failing, their behavior can shift, especially if their top need is growth. So if it shifts, it can come across as frustration when it's related to schoolwork and homework, perfectionism, self criticism, giving up quickly, tears over homework, and anger when they can't do something immediately. So this is like the child that just, wants to rip up their homework after one mistake, or the child that says, I'm really bad at this, and just shuts down. See, a growth driven child may clash with a parent who just moves too slowly, perhaps, or a parent that's really high in certainty that doesn't really want to do too many challenging things. So there could be a clash, growth versus certainty. Equally, a parent high in growth may unknowingly pressure their child to perform. So if the parent's need for growth is really high, but their kids' need isn't, they may just be unknowingly pushing them to perform. Okay. Who has a child that gets frustrated when they can't do something perfectly? Put a thumbs up or give me a yes in the chat. Yeah, lots of yeses there. Yeah. They just want to execute the task properly and perfectly. And the rubber, I'm just constantly rubbing out their mistakes and things like that. Thank you. Thank you. Right, we're on the last need, the need for contribution. So the contribution is the need to help, support, give, and feel useful beyond yourselves. Okay, it's not just doing things for yourself, but helping and supporting others. These children often love responsibility. Okay, so their highest need is contribution. They enjoy helping with jobs. They love looking after younger siblings. They love tidying up, teaching others, being the helper. So these children often feel so proud when they're needed. They like to feel that they matter and that they have a role to play. They may be naturally nurturing, empathetic, and caring children. But contribution can also show up negatively when it becomes unbalanced. Okay, so this may look like being controlling or bossing others or over helping Okay, feeling resentful for that too, taking on too much responsibility, and then feeling burdened or anxious. Okay, especially if they've enjoyed looking after older, younger siblings, and now feeling like it's just too much. Okay, or if they're in charge of, looking after the new child that's joined the school, and now it's just feeling too much. So at the beginning, they didn't mind contributing, but now it's just gone off balance. Some children become little carers in their family, and some become the responsible one. And while this can look positive on the surface, it can create pressure underneath. So, again, we've got some clashes. A contribution driven child may clash with a sibling that's high in significance because one wants to help and one wants to control. Or they may feel hurt when their help is rejected. So pop a yes in the chat if you've got a little helper at home, somebody who just loves helping out. Oh, great, great. I don't have one of those. I think mine are allergic to. Lovely. Right, I just want to go back to the human need of love because I think this is a really, really important one. Okay. I like it to be more frequent. I get that. Okay, let's go back to love. Right. At the core of every human being is the deep desire to feel love and connected. Okay, so we might think, what's this got to do with behavior and behavior management strategies? But it really does. While we may appear to chase things like success and certainty, attention, control, or excitement, underneath it all, most of us are just searching for the same thing, just to feel loved, to feel accepted, to have a sense of belonging and emotional safety. And that's so crucial, for schools as well, that they have that real sense of belonging, acceptance, and emotional safety at school. We seek significance because we want to feel worthy of love. We seek certainty because love can feel safer when life feels predictable. We seek variety because novelty can distract us from loneliness. We seek growth so we can become enough. We seek contribution because giving love can just feel just as fulfilling as receiving it. So often, behavior is simply the pursuit of love or the protection from the pain of feeling unloved. We want to feel love, but we're quite happy just to settle for connection. Okay. So our children really just want to have that loving connection with us, with their peers, with their teachers. And that's so important for them. And when us parents understand the biggest need for love, we can begin to see behavior differently, not as defiance or attention seeking, but as a child that's asking in the only way it knows how. They're just asking, do I matter? Am I safe? Am I loved? Okay, so their behaviors that they're all showing is fundamentally asking these kind of questions. Do I matter? Am I safe? Am I loved? Okay, right, so I'm just going to hit the next slide. So parents have needs too, okay, because we're always focusing on our children and their needs and their behaviors, but we also have these needs too. And it's really important to raise that awareness of what are my needs? What are my top human needs? But this is also where clashes happen. So maybe your highest need is certainty. So for me, certainty is one of my highest needs. So chaos triggers me, mess triggers me. Okay. So if certainty is yours, chaos and mess could possibly trigger you. Maybe your highest need is significance. So disrespect triggers you. Maybe your highest need is connection. So withdrawal really hurts. Maybe your highest need is growth. So you pressure your child. So what do you think drives you the most? And this is a moment now for everyone here to just take a moment and just think, what is it that would be my top two human needs? And if you're brave enough, put it into the chat. Is it certainty? Is it variety? Is it love, connection? Is it significance? Is it growth? Is it contribution? Which is your top two? And just take a guess at it. Are you the one that needs routines? Do you like your cuddles and your love time? Do you want to feel important? Do you want to be heard? Do you want order? Depends on the day, it really does. And we've got different needs at work and we've got different needs at home. Okay, so that's also something that's quite interesting as well because when we come home, we go into parent mode, and so the needs that we have there will be a little bit different, and how we are at work and who we show up as at work will be different too. Certainty and significance, certainty and contribution, certainty and growth, certainty and love. Yep, yep. Thank you so much for sharing. It does take a brave person to think, oh my God, what am I? Certainty and significance. It's very important to see what these are. Right. So let's think about our children now we've thought about ourselves. So think about your child and what did they seek repeatedly? Because it's really worth figuring out what your children's top human needs are as well. Okay. So what triggers them? What do they complain about? What do they fear losing? What do they chase? And see if you can identify their top needs. And if you feel like you can put them down in your chat as well, because you can see where they match. So, if you are a parent that's really high in love and connection, and you've got your child that's also love and connection, that's a really great match. But if yours is really high in certainty and your child's very, at the moment, significant driven, there could be potential clashes going on. And it makes more sense than to see, oh, this is what they're needing. Okay. Right, so we're going to do a little game now. We're going to play good detective. And this does take lots of you guys giving me some input, okay? Because I want to make sure that you just don't understand this just intellectually and you leave the workshop and you're like, oh yeah, the six human needs, and then you've kind of forgotten them. The more we sort of practice these, you'll start seeing your children's needs pop up. So when they do certain things, you're like, ah, they're looking for significance. Oh, they're needing connection right now. Oh, they're needing some certainty. And we can start to see our children through that lens. And it really does shift how we decide then to show up because we won't be just reacting. We can be very proactive in meeting those needs. Okay, so I've got a scenario and I'd like you to put in the chat what you think the needs are, the top two needs for this scenario. Your child begs for 5 more minutes on the iPad, then explodes when you say no. So what needs are they trying to meet? Your child begs for 5 more minutes on the iPad, then explodes when you say no. Have a go. You won't get it wrong, it's fine. Who's going to be brave enough? Significance? Okay, okay. This is good. This is good. Right. So what they're looking for, oh, there we go. Right. So what they're looking for is certainty with some of the games out there. Good, good, good. They're trying to hold on to something that they know. So that's where the certainty is. And they want the variety because they want something more stimulating. Okay. And that's now when we can start to see the behavior and see what needs are underneath. Okay. I'm going to give you another one. And again, in the chat, write down what you think the needs are, because the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to see it better. Right, your child shows you something they've made, and they keep looking at your face for a reaction. What need are they trying to meet? So they've just made something, and they just keep looking at you because they want a reaction. What need are they trying to meet? Yep. Any other takers? We've got significance, we've got growth, certainty. I love the humor. I need to check it's not awful. Okay, so the fact they keep looking at your face for a reaction is that they're looking for significance. So it's less to do with the drawing and it's more to do with, do I matter? Okay, otherwise they'll just show you and off they go. They're constantly looking at your face because they want a reaction. Okay, you are on your phone and suddenly your child starts acting silly, loud, and disruptive. What need are they trying to meet? You're on your phone and all of a sudden they're acting silly, loud, or disruptive. Good, good, good. Yep, yep. Connection, connection, love. Okay. And we tell them off, I'm on the phone, leave me alone. But actually, what they need in that moment is love and connection. Okay. So now we can see the need. It'll be so much easier to respond to them. Okay. Right. Your child refuses to get dressed, even though they know how. What need do you think they're trying to meet? They're refusing to get dressed. They know how to get dressed. They don't want to put their clothes on. They don't want to get ready. They're completely refusing. What need are they trying to meet? Who wants to have a go at that one? They know how to do it, but they're refusing. Ooh, connection. There's a refusal there. Significance, control, yeah. So they're wanting some certainty, they're wanting some control, and they're wanting significance. I need to feel in charge of something. Okay. They're not looking for connection there entirely because then they would be more softer and more pleasing and helpful, I would say. But the fact that they're refusing to get dressed and it feels like defiance is because they're looking for some kind of control, some kind of certainty. So maybe something that's happened previous to that point is made them feel out of control. And now they're trying to crave in and claw in that certainty. Okay. So this one's about siblings. Your child copies everything their older sibling is doing, even the naughty behavior. What needs are they meeting? Your child copies everything the older sibling is doing, even the naughty behavior. What needs are they meeting? What do we think? Got growth and connection. Growth, interesting. So the need that they're trying to meet is the need for connection and significance. They want to belong and they want to be like them. Okay. Right. So the next one, I'm not changing the slides. This is just, I'm going to be telling you them. Okay. Your child becomes really clingy when it's bedtime. And this is a common one that pops up with parents, especially with the younger kids as well. The child suddenly becomes really clingy when it's bedtime. So what need do they want now? Yeah, love and connection. There's another need in there because all of a sudden they've become clingy. Certainty, connection. Good, good, good. It seems like lots of you get the hang of this, which is really good. Okay. The world feels big and they're anchoring back to you. So they're looking for connection and certainty. Okay. So another one is your child says, I'm bored, even though they've got lots and lots of toys. What are they actually communicating? What need are they trying to meet? Yeah, good, good, good. Straight away, variety. That's what they're looking for. They've got so many toys, but they need new toys or they need new novelty, something different, to something to stimulate them. Okay, right. Your child, this is the last one. Your child gives you attitude after school, but was perfect all day at school. So what are they looking for? What need do they need from you? That's a common thing parents will say, after school, that after school meltdown. Good, good connection. Yes. They've been perfect all day holding it together. What are they looking for? Good connection. There is something else that they need as well, not just connection. Yeah. Instead of control, let's use the word certainty. They're just looking for some certainty because control can sometimes have a negative feel to it. They're just looking for some certainty, like, is everything going to be okay? I've got my emotional safety. Okay. So they're looking for connection and that sort of safety, that's that certainty. Right. So now that we've got to, we've explored the different needs and we've had a try of what they might look like. What I'd like to do is help you use this at home in day-to-day life. Okay, so we can actually use this. So now that we understand the needs behind the behavior, what do we do with this information? Because awareness is powerful, but the actions create change. So when we understand what need is driving behavior, we can start parenting proactively instead of reactively. Okay, we can meet the need before the behavior escalates. So, for example, if your child has a high need for certainty, mornings may feel chaotic for them. So, once you figure out what your child's needs are, it's easier to put things in place for them, okay, to just to avoid all of the behaviors escalating. Okay, so mornings may feel chaotic, the rushing, the unpredictability, the pressure, the transitions. So instead of repeatedly saying to them, hurry up, put your shoes on, we're late, you need to create some certainty for them. Okay, so giving them visual routines, giving them a countdown warning, helping them with preparing their clothes the night before, talking through the morning in advance will give them some level of certainty. Okay, and certainty creates that calmness within them. Okay, so for children that have feels like they've got a dysregulated nervous system, that certainty really, really creates that calm. If your child has a high need for growth or significance, you might get homework battles. Okay, homework battles may happen because they fear that failure or they want to feel capable and they're struggling. So instead of saying, just do it, it's easy, you know how to do this, you can say, let's break it down. You don't have to get it perfect. I can see this feels really hard, and I love how hard you're trying. Okay, this just sort of gently, softens the blow. And it makes them feel safe enough to keep going, okay, especially if their need is growth and significance. Okay. Now, for children that have a high need for connection, behavior may spike after school when they've been away from you. So they may seem clingy, emotional, argumentative. But once you know that, my child's top need is love and connection, we can not see it as bad behavior, but we can just see it as a need for reconnection. So before correcting them, connect with them. So 5 minutes of one-to-one time, a cuddle, a snack together, a chat in the car, connection first, correction second. Okay. Now, for some children, they have a really high need for variety. So they may struggle to sit still. They're always seeking something else to do. They may create sibling rivalry just to create some stimulation. Okay, so if you've got a child that's really high in variety, you've got to ask yourself, how do I get more movement for them? How do I get them more novelty? How can I provide a challenge, a game? Can homework become a race? Can tidying up become a challenge? Okay, can our routines become a bit playful? So once we know what their needs are, we can tailor towards these needs. Okay, it really makes a huge difference in the running of your home and the dynamics that you have then with your children. They'll just avoid lots of these clashes. If your child has a high need for contribution, they may thrive when given responsibility. Okay, so give them the responsibility. Can they help with pack lunches? Can they help change, like be in charge of towels or change towels? Can they help their brother or sister? Because contribution helps them feel valuable. So if their top need is contribution, let them contribute because you're meeting one of their needs. Okay. Now, Oh, and we got sibling rivalry. That's a big one that pops up a lot, okay? Sibling rivalry can often soften when children's individual needs are being met. Okay, so not just bundling them all up together and trying to meet their needs as one entity. One child may need significance, so they need that one-to-one praise, and another child may need connection, so they need that closeness. Another sibling may need certainty, so they need fairness and predictability. So once you figure out what their needs are, you can really tailor your interactions with them to meet those needs. Okay. And when these needs are not met, that's usually when you get competition and sibling rivalry between kids. Okay. So, what often looks like bad behavior is just simply an unmet need looking for a vehicle. So, we had that car picture at the beginning. It's an unmet need looking for a vehicle. Does it choose a positive vehicle? Does it choose a negative vehicle? It's going to figure it out somewhere or another to meet that need. Okay. So, So, how do I stop this and start asking, what are they needing right now? Okay. Now, there are six human needs, but focus on the top four: certainty, variety, significance, love, and connection. Usually, our children are wanting one of those top needs. Okay. And once we figure those out, it can really change how we decide to respond to our children. Okay. So, I've got one last slide. So this week, for the remainder of the week, I want you, before reacting, take a pause and ask yourself two questions. What needs are my children trying to meet? And what need in me is being triggered? Okay, so every time you have a trigger, one of your needs are not being met. Okay, so if your kids are not listening to you, it's your need for perhaps significance. Okay, if you feel that they're not spending enough time with you, it's your need for connection. So you're feeling triggered because one of your needs are not being met. And in that pause, you can create a completely different response once you think of what their needs are, what your needs are. Okay, and it really changes the outcome of that interaction. Okay, so we've come to the end, and I just want you all, thank you so much for being here tonight. I know there was lots in there, and I hope I've given you a new lens to see your children and understand your children in a way that you may not have seen them before. Okay, so before we close off, I just wanted to say that if you did want to reach and get in touch with me, I am on Instagram and on Facebook. I've got a website if you want to get in contact with me. And on the bottom of this slide is a quiz that you can take. So do jot it down. It's a quiz that lets you answer lots of questions, and it'll figure out what your top two needs are. And it's great because it's a really great, conversation that you can have with your partner. And it'll tell you what your drivers are, the way that you may meet these needs in a both positive and negative way.